The following program is intended for mature audiences.
A democratic republic of sports. The Sportsocracy with ESPN Asheville hosts Tank Spencer and Jeremy Greene.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy. I'm Tank Spencer. Jeremy Greene is alongside, and we are live, as always, in the Wicked Weed studio. Check out our friends at wickedweedbrewing.com. A Wicked Weed Brewing. Drink different. Yes, we know there's all kinds of things going on in the sports world, but today we want to talk about fantasy football.
Is there a lot going on?
Well, I mean, there's things.
Yeah, hashtag Bucks and Six.
Could go. Yeah, you could go deep divey on the NBA Finals tonight, the final game of the series, which we expect.
But I already did that. Hashtag Bucks and Six. I've been telling you that for a week and a half. This is not new information.
Right. But, I mean, it's fantasy football time. We're all geared up. We're ready to roll for the NFL season. We got training camps opening up tomorrow, the first of the season. It's gonna be so fantastic.
Oh yeah. And tomorrow, we, in honor of the NHL expansion draft, of which you don't hear the letters NHL put together on the show very often, we will be doing our own expansion draft in the NFL. I'll be putting out on the social medias today the final vote of the team name for the NFLDraft.net expansion team.
Nice.
Sorry that took so long. I'm going to say this every day for the rest of time. There's only two of us. We got a lot of shit going on.
Just the two of us.
I need you to never do that again. We somehow made it 4 years and you had never done that. I need us to make it 40 more years and you never do it again.
No, it's going to happen again. I might do it again in this show, actually. Just now because I know it ticks you off.
Wait.
No,
Fantasy football, we're doing faves, and fades. For 2021, we'll do each and every division. Today, we're going to start with the Easts, the AFC East and the NFC East. Who is your favorite player to target in fantasy football this year from each and every team, and who is the one that you're just not interested in, whether it be because of ADP, whether because he just plain sucks, or what? We will roll through, like I said, each and every team. We encourage you to follow along and participate as well. Give us your faves and fades as we roll through this series. Now, with the AFC East.
You're starting with, I'm assuming we're starting with the best team in the AFC East?
We're starting with the best team in the AFC East, the Buffalo Bills. The favorite for me for the Buffalo Bills is Josh Allen. Look, I get it. Hot, spicy take, blah, 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 blah. Look, I'm a guy that I don't take quarterbacks early, ever, in fantasy football. However, Josh Allen is one that makes me lean toward maybe I should do this. Maybe it's time to pull the trigger early on a quarterback. Last night was in a mock draft, and Josh Allen falls down to the 4th round, and I went, well, that's just dumb.
That's stupid.
He should be gone by now. So there, at some point, like Jeremy has told us in the past, at some point every player has a value. And even if you're a guy who doesn't take quarterbacks early, if you've got one that falls, where his value is just too stupid at that point, change your plan.
There is a path that I would take Josh Allen. There are not many quarterbacks I would take. Especially with the Deshaun Watson thing hanging out there,
right.
There's probably not 3 quarterbacks in the NFL I would take before the 7th round. Mm-hmm. I just know I'm going into every draft with the intention of taking Deshaun Watson. Because look, at quarterback, if I'm right, I'm better than you, period.
Right.
If I'm wrong, I'm going to have to find somebody else. But at quarterback, I can do that. So I'm going in with the intention of taking Deshaun Watson and some combination of Derek Carr, Sam Darnold, high upside, very low floor guys to pair with Deshaun Watson. Now, that being said, I could be convinced, like you said, if Josh Allen's sitting around in the 4th round, I'm at the back end of the 4th round. Things didn't go the way I wanted it to. I wound up at the beginning of the draft. And I go beginning in the 1st, late 2nd, early 3rd, late 4th, and Josh Allen's there, I would struggle to pass it up.
Right. Josh Allen to me is just he made a play for the MVP last year.
Should have been.
And it
should have been the MVP.
Should not have been.
Should have been the MVP.
Aaron Rodgers' stats were better.
Should have been the MVP.
By the truest sense of the word, possibly, you may be right. But he's going to make a case for MVP again this year, I believe. I only expect him to continue on this path that he set last year. And so to me, Josh Allen has to be my favorite. I wanted to slip Stephon Diggs in here, but I mean, I'm going to follow ADP on him because there's so many wide receivers out there. But to me, the drop-off at quarterback, it does get a little, what should we say, considerable. And again, if you can get a steal on Josh Allen, I think you definitely go down that path.
Well, my thing with Diggs is right where he should be.
Yes.
Diggs should be a mid to late 2. Mm-hmm. I don't like taking receivers early. I never have. Mm-hmm. You know, we all know how Jeremy feels about this year. It's Travis Kelce no matter what. That's first round for me everywhere.
Right.
So I couldn't go with Diggs. We both agree on the fade. So I'll talk about my fave. I think Zack Moss is going to be the starting running back of this team. Mm-hmm. I think he was hurt last year. I liked the talent coming out. I saw things last year in him, and there wasn't much. He didn't do much last year, but everything I've heard out of Buffalo is he's going to be the between the tackles, first 2 downs, and I think he's going to get goal line work just because he's bigger. I mean, at the end of the day, that's the spicy on Zack Moss. I think he's going to get goal line work because he's not a little filler.
Yeah.
Devin Singletary, little filler. Zack Moss is not a little filler.
He's not. I don't like the running game for the Buffalo Bills. There's not a lot to like with them, but out of that backfield, Zack Moss is the guy that will have the most value, I believe. I mean, Zack Moss is running back 39 according to ADP right now.
Which is stupid.
Is it, though?
Which is stupid. Let me ask you a question. How many carries did Zack Moss have last year?
No clue.
112.
Okay.
He had 481 yards. Mm-hmm. If he'd had a full workload, what does that tell you? Been about a 1,000-yard rusher. Mm-hmm. If he had 220, 230, 240 carries, he'd been a 1,000-yard rusher. Mm-hmm. And he was terrible. The line was god-awful, and Devin Singletary was horrendous. He's a starting running back in the NFL. Spicy hot take. Zack Moss outscores a running back that we're going to talk about with the next team. And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. He's going to outscore running backs that you take way ahead of him. Touchdowns are cyclical. We talk about this shit every freaking year. Mm-hmm. The one thing that does not tend to that tends to be fluky or tight end or touchdowns. He didn't have any of those last year because he didn't have any carries. If you told me Zack Moss had 180 carries this year, he was a 4.3 yards per carry guy last year. I don't see that getting worse. I would only see it getting better. Mm-hmm. That puts him in that back-end RB2, high-end RB3 range. I am fine with Zack Moss being the 4th running back on my team. Perfectly fine. Happy about it.
That's exactly where I'm at with Zack Moss. If you can get him as your RB4, all in.
And that's where he's at.
Go get him.
I mean, he's being drafted at 39. Mm-hmm. What is he, 39, 40?
39. RB 39.
His ADP right now is he's the 39th running back off the board. That means he should be the 4th running back for the team that goes running back heaviest, which will be this guy. You will not out running back me, I fucking promise you.
Right. In the 10th round, Zack Moss is going around guys like Kenyon Drake, Trey Sermon, A.J. Dillon. They're going around
Let me just say,
all
can I
of the
say
backups.
stupid to every one of those? Not one of those running backs has a path to being the number 1 no-doubt guy on their team. Zack Moss does.
I think Trey Sermon.
No, he doesn't.
Really?
What do you think? Raheem Mostert's going to die?
Maybe.
What are they going to put him? They're going to put him in that little thing they just sent Jeff Bezos up in and forget to bring it back? Because that's the only way he's the bell cow. And I got news for you. There'd be another running back behind him.
Well, there are people,
whether it's JaMychal Hasty, Jeff Wilson Jr., whatever the case may be. There is a path that Zack Moss is a 15 to 20 carry a week guy.
There are a lot of people concerned about the injuries with Raheem Mostert. And so, you know, you're taking that chance that if he gets hurt again, Trey Sermon steps up to be the number 1 there.
Okay, so he would have to be done for the year. You're having to project that he would get hurt to the point he couldn't come back. for you to take Trey Sermon over him. That's the only way that it makes any form of sense.
Yes.
And I got news for you. Just like I just said, if that happens, JaMychal Hasty or Jeff Wilson Jr. is going to take carries from him, just like every running back in San Francisco. Fun question.
Okay.
You know what? I'll save that for the Jets. There's a stat with running backs. You put a pin in that Trey Sermon shit, and we'll discuss that in a minute.
Okay.
My fade and your fade, same guy, Devin Singletary.
Yes. Devin Singletary is, I had high hopes for him when he was coming in. I took him in a couple of rookie drafts, and it just never panned out. Devin Singletary has had problems gaining yardage, and he's also, he had some fumble issues as well. So, to me, the future looks like it's Zack Moss in Buffalo. We were sold that last year, and I think a lot of people expected too much out of Zack Moss in his rookie year, and that's why these guys are so close in the rankings. Zack Moss is going running back 39. Devin Singletary is going back running back 41. They're right there together.
They're right there beside each other. I like Zack Moss markedly better.
And again, they're all in the line of backups. I feel like Devin Singletary belongs in that line of backups. I believe that Zack Moss should belong at the end of where all of the RB1s are going.
But the misnomer to me with the Buffalo Bills last year is how bad they were running the ball. It's just not true. They just didn't do it enough. They ran the ball 411 times last year. That includes Josh Allen. Devin Singletary and Zack Moss were both 4.3, 4.4 yard per carry guys. That's fine. You just have to do it more. When do you do it more? When you're ahead. What do we think is going to happen with Buffalo all year long?
They're going to
look at the schedule. They're going to be ahead a lot. So you're going to see a higher workload for these guys than you saw last year. And that kind of plays into the Josh Allen thing for me. I think you'll see a regression in Allen's stats and a little bit of a progression for I'm fading Devin Singletary because I don't like him where he's going with Zack Moss. If he fades to RB 55, in. Because I don't think he's bad. I don't think either one of them are bad. I want one of them to delineate themselves as the starter.
When considering Buffalo Bills players in fantasy as well, I always want to shoehorn Cole Beasley into this conversation. Cole Beasley's a guy who's not getting drafted.
Cole Beasley and Daniel Sorensen are two guys that I swear to God get more mention on this show than any show in America.
Cole Beasley is a guy, though, he was one of the best slot receivers in the league last year. There are some people that believe that he's not going to have a role on this team.
Those people are dumb.
I have seen articles talking about he may be cut by this team.
Those people are also dumb.
And I don't see a path for it, and I've been in so many drafts where you're sitting there in the final round and Cole Beasley's just staring you in the face. Like, he's a good, usable piece that should be on a bench somewhere. And he's going to be on my bench in a lot of leagues.
I mean, as well he should be. The thing about him is that a lot of people get wrapped into this. Well, Cole Beasley in PPR was, what was he, number 27 last year?
Yep.
One small problem with that. The only reason he was that high is because he's so damn consistent. He didn't have a whole lot of huge games last year. That's the thing about it. My problem with guys like Cole Beasley is you're never going to feel great starting them because you know the ceiling is, or the floor is high and the ceiling is low. Because he's going to score between 8 and 15 points a week. Totally touchdown dependent. Does he fall in the end zone one time? Last round, all the way in. That's fine. Yep. I would rather take a flyer on a guy like Gabriel Davis, who I think can be a legitimate to Stephon Diggs.
But again, it's one of those things. Are you willing to take the risk on a guy who's going to be consistent and you know you can plug and get points for, or are you going to take that? Are you going to take that lottery ticket and hope that this is a week that Gabriel Davis pops? To me, if I'm making the decision, I'm going with the steady hand.
That late, I'm taking a lottery ticket.
Okay.
I don't need the steady guy. I draft the steady guys early. For me, the back end is flyers. Jonathan Welch said in the comments that the Bills like Beasley so much they went out and signed Emmanuel Sanders. Okay, let's play a fun game. You were talking about injuries with the Raheem Mostert.
Yes.
Something happens to Emmanuel Sanders. How high is Gabriel Davis the next minute? I'd say he's wide receiver 35. Immediately.
Okay.
instantaneously. Because there's not a tight end on this team. Mm-hmm. If you're drafting Buffalo Bills tight ends, you're doing it wrong. I mean, nobody is, so I'm not really talking to anybody right there. But if you do, you're doing it wrong.
Kevin Vick says the reason people are fading Cole Beasley is because they're pissed he's not vaccinated.
Yeah, I almost said that same thing. I said they were dumbasses. Well, they could also be Democrats. So, D's. They're a D one way or the other.
Yikes. All right. Anyhow.
There are a lot of people that are just super pissed off at him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next time you walk up to somebody and ask them if they've had a herpes shot, I know there's not a herpes shot. I get it. Then you can ask me if I've had a vaccine or not.
Whatever you do, stay away from Devin Singletary if you're drafting Buffalo Bills in your fantasy lineups for 2021. The Miami Dolphins. Your favorite for the Miami Dolphins?
It's all right. Somebody can't help but fucking call me. We've been doing this show for how long? It's not new shit.
Fantasy faves and fades for the Miami Dolphins in 2021. My favorite is Devonte Parker. Devonte Parker, to me, is steady as they come now. Remember all of those times I got bit by him, Jeremy got bit by him. He was mutually one of our favorite guys to hold on to and go, oh, he's going to pop at some point. And the minute you give up on him, he comes out to be a legitimate, consistent wide receiver. Last year he had 103 targets in this Miami offense, and I think there's something to that. Tua Tagovailoa throwing the football, we're going to see if he can have the sophomore spike and ease the concerns everybody had about him in his rookie season. I think he's going to lean on familiar faces. Devonte Parker, to me, is a guy that you can get for pretty good value in your fantasy drafts. He's going to be targeted a lot, and he's going to pay off for you.
You're higher on Devonte Parker than I am.
Mm-hmm.
I refuse to believe that now there are legitimate weapons around Devonte Parker.
Mm-hmm.
You take away the 2019 year, the Ryan Fitzpatrick year.
Mm-hmm.
He had 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns. Do you know what the best year he's ever had in his life was other than that? 793 and 4 touchdowns. 63 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
He did that last year. 14 games. First of all, he stays hurt. He's been hurt damn near every year he's been in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I can't see a path that you brought in Will Fuller, who's more talented, and you brought in Jalen Waddle, who's more talented.
Mm-hmm.
You still have Preston Williams. You have Gesicki. They added Hunter Long. I don't know how he's going to get the ball. That's my problem with Devonte Parker. I don't love any of them, except for one. I do love one. I like Jalen Waddle. I don't like where he's going. I wish he would. All 3 of these receivers are going like in the same stack. They're within 5 of each other in ADP.
Right.
And I don't love that.
Well, Jalen Waddle, that's why he's my fade for the Miami Dolphins for this year. Look, I temper expectations for rookie wide receivers, period. I don't normally go hog wild for a rookie wide receiver. Now, the fact that he has rapport, the fact that he has rapport with Tua Tagovailoa, I get it. It's going to be a familiar face. Could be a guy that he leans on. Sure.
Which helps. He's going to play the Will Fuller role until Will Fuller shows back up.
Right. Will Fuller's suspended for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand the arguments for him. The only reason that I put him on the fade, I like him. I like Jalen Waddle, and I think he's going to have a pretty decent year. Do I expect him to have a Justin Jefferson type rookie year? No, I do not.
No, but there is a receiver that's going to do that we're going to talk about in this show.
But right now, Jalen Waddle's ADP is higher than Devonte.
I think they're both too high, but I think they're going to regress. Mm-hmm. Will Fuller's is too high right now. Let me explain my Will Fuller fave for you. I'm not drafting him anywhere. I'm not.
Okay.
It's a prerequisite of I prefer him in leagues that don't have IR spots. Or you have to be hurt to be on an IR spot. Like if you're suspended, you don't get to be put on IR.
Right.
Because here's what's going to happen. Somebody's going to take him, and injuries are going to take over.
Mm-hmm.
Or bye weeks, or whatever the case may be. One way or the other, they're going to get tired of waiting on Will Fuller. And you'll be able to get him for a bag of packing peanuts. And that's what I'm planning on doing everywhere. He's going to be a throw-in in a trade in probably every league I'm in. Because I'm going to dead lock in on with, unless, crazy people let him drop way too far. Mm-hmm. Now, if he gets into the 14th round or some dumb shit like that, then yeah, I'll go ahead and snag him. When everybody else is taking kickers and defenses and shit that don't matter. Mm-hmm. I'll go get Will Fuller, who will start probably 8 of the last 10 weeks for me. And that I'm fine with. But for me, the idea that somebody uses draft capital on him and then gives him to me for a bag of dicks, in. Which is why I do a lot of
winning.
Your fade for the Miami Dolphins, pretty obvious.
Myles Gaskin.
Yeah.
You're fucking out of your gourd.
The running game is not good for the Miami Dolphins. Myles Gaskin, to me, proved last year that he's not an every down guy. I thought that was the one thing that they were going to fix in the offseason was to go get a running back, and they did not. And now maybe they're going to be one of the teams that's going to be in on Adrian Peterson. I saw he wanted to play his 15th season or something this year. He wanted to hang on and still try to chase that record. Yeah, well, maybe Miami does that.
If I'm the GM of a team that Adrian Peterson calls, I have to poop. And he's 87 years old, so he probably does too.
Maybe they kick the tires on Todd Gurley.
Todd Gurley's going to end up in Baltimore.
There could be.
There are 3 teams left on Gurley.
Right. There could be a trade scenario where they go out and get somebody, but I think if you were going to do it, you'd have done it by now.
Let me put it to you this way on Myles Gaskin.
Okay.
He's been in the league for 2 years. He had 142 rushes last year. Mm-hmm. How many more do you actually think he's going to get? He had 3 touchdowns, 584 yards.
I don't know.
Largely ineffective.
2 a game.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Does he get to 200? I would say no. Mm-hmm. He was running back number 28 last year. How much of a workload do you think he's going to get? I think Jared Dokes has a role. I think there are a lot of guys on this. They have several running backs. We just don't know who they are. That's the reason nobody talks about them. People
Salvon Ahmed.
Yeah, people look at this depth chart and go, it's a bunch of dudes that I don't know who they are. Myles Gaskin is a dude you don't know who he is either. He's just the first one on the list.
Right.
I wouldn't take. Where would you? As I always state, everybody has a role eventually. Mm-hmm. Where would you take Myles Gaskin?
If Myles Gaskin fell to me in the 8th round, I might take him there.
Too high for me.
In the 8th?
Yeah, too high for me. Currently, he's going in the middle of the 4th, so you're not going to have to worry about that too much.
Right. He's somebody that I'm going to let everybody else jump on because while they're busy drafting Myles Gaskin, I've got my choices of my little boyfriend Chase Edmonds or Mike Davis or Raheem Mostert or even Ronald Jones. I would take
Myles Gaskin
way ahead
has gone
of Myles
ahead
Gaskin.
of every dude you just said in every draft.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
It's lunacy to me how high people have gotten on him.
Yep. Myles Gaskin and any running back for the Miami Dolphins is out for me. Like I say, unless they're going to make some kind of a trade and they can get one of these good backup running backs from somewhere, then I'm out. I've heard Marlon Mack's name mentioned a couple of times. That might be something I'd be interested in.
Nope. I'm still out.
Really?
Miami Dolphin running backs, gas station hot dogs, tap water in Mexico, knowing shit about the Clintons. All things that I don't trust.
You got to stop talking shit about my gas station hot dogs, man.
Oh, I thought you were going to say I got to stop talking shit about the Clintons.
No.
I probably should.
No. I mean, you should for your own personal safety.
Not a ton of people see this, but enough see it. And it isn't going well for a bunch of other people. So I'm a tough old bird.
For a show that focuses on jokes and not politics. That's not twice you brought up politics.
And it won't be the last time either. Look, Jeff Bezos flew to space and Challenger was trending. I'm pissed off, okay? Because people suck.
Yeah,
people with keyboards suck in large part. Not all of them, but some do.
Yep. The New England Patriots. Faves and fades for 2021. The New England Patriots have not a great offense. I'm not.
Oh, don't tell their fans that. Oh, you'll get called a dumbass or a sleep blade or look at this redneck with the beard. I'm just trying to think of ones I've been called. Yeah,
It's not a good offense.
Patriots fans love me.
It's not a good offense. There's not a whole lot to love about it, but there is one guy, there is one favorite that we have a consensus on, and it's Damian Harris. Because I don't know, I guess it's just people are coming around to, or people are mistaking that the New England Patriots just can't run the football and don't run the football, which is dumb because that's one of the best things that they do. Is run the football. Sony Michel is no longer in the picture here. This is Damian Harris's team.
It's all Damian Harris.
Yeah. And the fact that he is, winding up on teams of mine in the 6th round is ridiculous.
You're taking him too early.
Too early?
You don't have to take him that early. I've taken him later than that.
I'm not willing to wait and see. At that point, his ADP is 84 right now. So that's what, 7th round?
60's nope, that's the beginning of the 7th round.
Beginning of the 7th round. Yeah.
No, that's the end of the 7th round.
End of the 7th.
End of the 7th round. Yeah, I've taken him in the 8th round and laughed my ass off.
See, I won't wait that long. When I see somebody falling way back, because I think he should be drafted ahead of everybody.
Myles Gaskin. He should be drafted ahead of Myles Gaskin, period.
Yeah.
It's not even freaking debatable, and people do it wrong every single day.
And that is about the line. RB 25, that's where he should be. And right now he's RB 33? That's
something like that.
That's dumb to me. I'm looking at the list. He's RB 33. That's ridiculous to me. I think there's a great chance that he will end up as a top 20, maybe top 15 running back in the NFL this year.
He finished at 53 last year with 9 other running backs getting carries. There's none left. Sony Michel may not be on this team. Rex Burkhead's already not on this team. Thank God. That's him and James White. That's where we're at. People are pushing him down because of this false narrative on Sony Michel. Sony Michel's gotten the opportunity, and he's done bupkis with it.
Last year, Damian Harris averaged 5 yards per carry.
Which is stupid.
That's 7th, by the way, guys.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, where's the breaking news button?
Did we load it on? I don't think we loaded it on there.
Cam Akers tore his Achilles.
Oh, no.
Just came out from Adam Schefter. Cam Akers tore his Achilles.
Oh, no.
Well, that changes. Usually we try not to interrupt these, but that's news. That's a thing. Cam Akers has torn his Achilles. He will be out for the 2021 NFL season. This is why we can't have nice things. By the way, you just remember I said this. Todd Gurley will be starting running back the LA Rams.
Yes.
If you've been one of those forward-thinking human beings that drafted Todd Gurley because he'll be on a team somewhere, well, found it. I found where he will be.
Well, watch the Darrell Henderson train.
Oh, yeah. The Darrell Henderson thing's going to go nuts.
Yeah.
It ain't going to be him. I'm just telling you, it ain't going to be him.
Not
by himself.
I knew naming my dynasty fantasy team IR terrible was a bad omen.
Do you have Cam Akers on that team?
I have Cam Akers. He's my number 1 running back in dynasty.
No, not anymore. He's not.
Oh, that was the team I showed you the other day where my number 2 is Philip Lindsay.
Yikes. Yeah. You're
dead.
Do me a favor. I want you to bring what's the entry fee in that league?
$150.
Yeah, I want you to bring $150 in right there and just set it on fire. Because
you did it. I gave him $150 and I've already,
Tell you what, I'll take $150 out of the bank of my game of Monopoly and we'll just set it on fire for you.
Yeah.
And then we'll pour one out for our dead homies.
Oh, God. Cam Akers, that's the news I didn't need. Anyhow, Damian Harris, he's the guy to target for the New England Patriots. You're going to get crazy value, even if you overdraft him like I have done. Because I feel like I got a steal out of him. I'm just not willing to wait around till the 7th round to get him.
I am. I'll wait. And there's always one. There's one other person in every draft you do that's on the Damian Harris bandwagon. And if you play the fun Mexican standoff with him, you should win. Because unless you watch this show, you are not as confident in Damian Harris as you should be.
Who do you think is going to get all the goal line carries for this team? For the New England Patriots?
Did I say how many times can I say Damian Harris's name in the segment?
This is kind of my point. 22 goal line carries last year for the New England Patriots. You want to know how many of them went to Damian Harris?
5.
No. Well, you might be right about that. 15 of them went to the quarterback. Cam Newton had 15 of the 22 goal line carries last year for the New England Patriots. If he's not the quarterback this year, Damian Harris is your guy, and he's going to eat.
And I got news for you.
Inside the 5.
There's no path to Cam Newton being the quarterback of this team throughout the year. There's not one. There is no path to that, because if they start him, they're going to start poorly. So, and this might be a long-range play. I'll put it this way. If we played out the 2021 fantasy football season 100 times, I would say 70 of those times Damian Harris is a RB2 at worst. Top 24 running back in the NFL, and you're getting him drastically lower than that.
Fades for the New England Patriots in 2021 fantasy football.
Everybody else.
Everybody else.
Everybody turbo.
Nelson Aguilar, I put him on here because he's being drafted ahead of Jacoby Myers, and I believe that's dumb. If there's a wide receiver that you want to take one because you think maybe there's a chance that Mac Jones is going to be very accurate, he's going to be very good, to me, I want Jacoby Myers. Because I believe Jacoby Myers is going to have a lot of the slot work like he did last year.
Jacoby Myers was almost my fave. But then when you told me you had Damian Harris, I went, that's my guy. That's my name. I've been saying that.
Right.
You don't get to have that one. Mine.
Right.
I convinced you of that one.
Well, yeah, but then I think the public convinced me of that as well because the ADP is so stupid.
The ADP's dumb.
On Damian Harris.
The highest I've seen on Damian Harris is back in the 6th. Michael Whiteside asked me in the comments where you take him. The more I'm coming around to the 7th. Especially with Cam Akers going down. With Cam Akers going down, that's going to take one definitive top 2 round spot away. Now every running back goes up one slot. That's probably going to push Damian Harris into the back of the 6th, the beginning of the 7th. So now you literally over the course of this show, you may have to take him one round higher than I thought.
Right.
Just because now there's one less bell cow running back in the NFL than there was when we started this.
To me, Jacoby Myers has more sure hands than Nelson Aguilar. He proved last year that he was the only thing that was worth a damn in the New England passing offense. I think he's got a role, and I also believe that he's a better wide receiver. I mean, his true catch rate is like 97%, which is taking all of the catchable passes, and how many of those did he catch last year? It's like 97.8%. He's one of the best in the league at
what is the ADP on him right now?
The ADP on him is like
dumb.
the 18th round.
It's dumb.
Yeah.
It's not drafted in most leagues.
That's what I'm saying. When you get down to the last round, there's a chance that all of the New England receivers are going to be there. So if I've got my pick,
Aguilar's going. Aguilar won't, and my fade, Hunter Henry won't.
His ADP. Let's see here. Nelson Aguilar's ADP right now is 180.
That can't possibly. Is that on Fantasy Pros?
This is on Fantasy Pros.
Ow.
He is 180. Jacoby Myers, you gotta keep
His
scrolling.
His is 294.
You gotta keep scrolling.
His is 376. He's going behind kickers and shit.
Yeah. Which to me is dumb.
So if you get kickers in your league is dumb.
Right. So if you get to the end and you need to take a receiver and you got all your choices from the New England Patriots, maybe somebody's going to pop, I'd go Jacoby Myers over Nelson Aguilar. That's why Nelson's my fade.
I would as well. Hunter Henry is currently going as a back-end tight end 1, and that is stupid.
It's all the hype train for Hunter Henry has been crazy since he came into the league.
Right now, he's going ahead of Logan Thomas. Stop that! That's stupid! Oh, he's so talented. Okay. He also lives hurt. He's going ahead of Mike Gesicki. He's going 5 rounds ahead of Robert Tonyan.
Yeah.
And no, I won't say it Tonyan. If you want it to be Tonyan, put a fucking U in it.
He has struggled to stay healthy. Even if he's on the field, he's a questionable. He is Mr. Questionable. He hasn't missed he hasn't missed a whole lot of games. I mean, he did miss one entire season. But in the seasons that he has played most of the games, I guess we could say.
Most.
I mean, he missed one game in 2016, missed 2 games in both 2017 and 2020, and he missed 4 games in 2019. And that missed the entire 2018 season.
And the most yards he's ever had in a season is 652. Mm-hmm. That's it. He had 8 touchdowns his rookie year. He's had 13 in 4 years since. Mm-hmm. Stop it with Hunter Henry. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, actually, don't stop it. Just play in leagues with me because I love watching you take him ahead of guys that are markedly better.
Right.
Robert Tonyan is markedly better.
Since we're talking about Hunter Henry, what do you think about Jonnu Smith? Will you have him anywhere this year?
I don't love it.
I know he was one of your little boyfriends.
I loved him in that offense. I don't love him in this offense. Mm-hmm. But he keeps trying to make the Gronk, Aaron Hernandez. First of all, these 2 players are nothing like those 2. Right. Nothing. Because you don't have the physically imposing guy that you can throw on the outside. You don't have the guy that you can line up, in-line, motion out. Jonnu Smith's going to be the motion guy because he's the more physically imposing of the 2. I don't love it. I would like it more if Mac Jones starts. Mm-hmm. I hate it if it's Cam Newton. If you force feed me that Greg Olsen stat one more goddamn time, I'm going to lose my mind because it's dumb. I mean, dumb. If you can't understand the difference between Greg Olsen and Jonnu Smith, I can't help you. Jonnu Smith is an athletic guy that just so happens to be a mismatch for a lot of linebackers. There's not a lot of scheme fit here to me because he's built more like Gronk, but he plays more like Hernandez. If we're going to use that stupid analogy that everybody wants to keep throwing at me. I don't get it. And above all else, you don't have Tom Brady. So name me the time that 2 tight ends have ever been fantasy relevant on the same team. Other than the analogy that everybody keeps wanting to make.
Right.
There's not one. Never happened.
Dallas Goedert, Zach Ertz.
How relevant were they last year? Don't worry. We're going to get into them.
Yeah.
We're doing the NFC East soon.
Yeah. They weren't relevant last year, but 2 years ago, they had their moments.
Ertz was relevant. Goddard was an afterthought. He was fine.
Right. And the back half of the season, I think they both were relevant.
Back half of the season, yes. I'll give you that. But there wasn't a receiver on the team. You know, the best receiver on that team was Alshon Jeffrey. Mm-hmm. So,
but I think that's kind of how people are looking at the New England Patriots, though, is that we've got what many would consider just bums at the wide receiver position, and here you've got 2 athletic tight ends that you believe in. Mm-hmm. That's why everybody's going drunk on Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith.
I don't mind Jonnu Smith. Hunter Henry's going way, just ignorantly too high.
Yeah. 2021 favorites and fades. Faves and fades for the New York Jets. It's Jeremy's pride and joy, his little baby of a team. Straight on to 6 wins this year.
More than that. More than that.
In fantasy football, who is your favorite Jet, Jeremy? Go ahead. We know what's coming.
Elijah Moore!
Elijah Moore, every hype from Jets camp this year has been about Elijah Moore, the rookie wide receiver out of Ole Miss.
Mm-hmm. All day, every day. I will have him on no less than every team I have. You will have to take him dumb high to get – and here's what's happening. He's not getting drafted in redraft leagues. Mm-hmm. That is insanity to me. Here's what I can't figure out. The people that don't like Elijah Moore and are not drafting him and think the Jets are going to be bad. So you think they're going to be bad, which means you think they're going to throw a lot. He's the best receiver on this team, and it's not debatable. Denzel Mims is running as the 5. So it's not him. Corey Davis, that's your fave guy. I like Corey Davis. Mm-hmm. I think he's going to be a better real-life NFL football player than he is fantasy player, just like he was with the Tennessee Titans. Mm-hmm. I said that. How many times have I said that over the years?
Yeah. Last year was Corey Davis's breakout year. Mm-hmm. He finished as a top 32 wide receiver, and right now he is wide receiver 51 according to ADP. Mm-hmm. And to me, that's dumb.
That's too low.
And if you want, and if we get down to that part of the draft where I'm drafting my 5th wide receiver, and Corey Davis is there, all the way in on Corey Davis.
As of right now, using Fantasy Football Calculator, which brings every site together, Corey Davis is going as the 2nd pick of the 12th round. Going right behind Devonte Parker, Laviska Shenault, who I'm very fond of. Here's the thing. I don't see a lot of guys in front of him that I would take him over. I mean, I'll just go down the list.
I'll agree with you.
I like that. See, that's where faves and fades come into me. Mm-hmm. If you're going to be a fave of mine if you're 2 rounds too late. You're going to be a fade of mine if you're 2 rounds too early, which I'll get into a second with a name that's right under me that I've talked about a lot on this show. I can't take him over. I could take Corey Davis over Henry Ruggs, which is the guy that's directly in front of him. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could take him over Devonte Parker. I can't take him over Laviska Shenault. Mike Williams. I could take him over Mike Williams. I can't take him over Jerry Jeudy. I can't take him over Curtis Samuel. I could do T.Y. Hilton. I could do Antonio Brown. Then you get like Brandon Cooks is within 6 spots of him. I can't take him ahead of Brandon Cooks. Just on the off chance that I'm wrong and Deshaun Watson's the quarterback of the Houston Texans. So I think Corey Davis is slotted pretty well. Elijah Moore, by comparison, is going behind Cole Beasley.
Now that is dumb.
He's going 3 spots ahead of A.J. Greene. Sorry, I had a stroke after I said that. He's going 3 spots ahead of A.J. Greene, who is 411 years old.
Right.
And one of 9 receivers on his own team. Mm-hmm. Elijah Moore, just, you're welcome. That's all I'm going to tell you.
There's a lot of hatred on the Jets. Corey Davis, I will agree with your point on Corey Davis seems to be slotted by ADP where he needs to be. Here's the thing, though. Real life application, he's not going there in mock drafts that I have been in.
I think his placement in 16-round drafts is going to be about there. Mm-hmm. He's slotted as the 1. He's not going to fall any further than this. Because you're going to get to the point where you take like Marvin Jones. Mm-hmm. You're not taking him over a 1 in any offense. I don't care how bad you think it is. So I would disagree with you. I think in real life application, he's going to be about an 11th to 12th round pick. I've seen this go as high as the 8th round, which is too high to me. Mm-hmm. He falls in about that 10th, 11th, 12th round. Depends on where it falls.
Okay.
Elijah Moore's a guy I can take with my last pick. If you're in a league that makes you take stupid kickers and stupid defenses, I can take him in the 14th round, and I would wager by the end of the year, you're going to realize how right I have been on this guy.
Elijah Moore is the reason that my fade for this team is Jameson Crowder. You may be swayed by, Jameson Crowder was an unheralded success last year. He was pretty damn decent last year. Scored 113 points in a PPR league. He finished right there in a group with a couple of guys who had 113 points, Tyler Boyd and Michael Gallup. There's no way he sees that kind of volume this year because of Elijah Moore.
Look at the regression with Albert Wilson. He didn't play last year, but just look at the regression of how he played, not necessarily statistically. When Adam Gase went away, the opportunities went away. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you're going to see with Jameson Crowder. I love this kid. Took a huge pay cut to stay with his team, wants another shot. He's going to have a role. The problem is it's not going to be anywhere near the role that you saw last year. Mm-hmm. Adam Gase is drunk on slot receivers for whatever reason. At the end of the day, how many yards do you think Jameson Crowder had last year? Do you have it pulled up in front of you?
I don't have the total yardage in front of me now.
So, had a good year last year, right? Mm-hmm. Missed 4 games. How many yards do you have?
800.
700.
700.
6 touchdowns. He just had a few big games. Mm-hmm. I think the volume's going to go down. I mean, he had 201 targets or 211 targets in 2 years with Adam Gase. I would be shocked if he saw 100 targets this year. So he's going to be a fade for me. He's not really on the board to me because I think Elijah Moore takes his job. Elijah Moore's a slot guy. Elijah Moore's the young guy. Elijah Moore's a guy that was drafted by this team that they see a future with. They're going to pair him with Zach Wilson to try to grow them together. Now, here's what I will say. This is not a – think about how Deebo Samuel and Ayuk and all those guys in San Francisco were used. They're still going to get workload. Just because they're not the predominant slot guy does not mean that you're not going to see them. Deebo Samuel played all over the formation. Michael Whiteside's a 49ers fan. He can vouch for this. This is the same tree. Mike LaFleur learned at the foot of Kyle Shanahan. So everything you've seen in San Francisco is exactly what you're going to see with the Jets. So, if Jameson Crowder's a guy that doesn't get drafted, I don't think that's accurate. Especially if you're in a even pseudo-deeper league. 18 rounds, he should certainly go. He's not a guy that I necessarily want to count on. Now, that being said, if something happened, Denzel Mims had injury problems last year. Corey Davis has had some injury issues over his career. If something happened to Elijah Moore, now all of a sudden he becomes a priority pickup. If he gets back in the slot and he is the slot guy in an offense that uses slot guys a lot, and this team has no tight end. That's another thing to remember. This team has no tight end. Tyler Kroft is probably going to line up as the one, or Kenny Yeboah.
What happened to Herndon?
Who I really like, by the way.
What happened to Herndon?
Fuck him. Yeah.
That was Jeremy's go-to for 4 years?
No, he hadn't been in
3 years?
He's only been in the league 3 years. He's been 2. If you ask me any question about Chris Herndon this year?
No,
No,
I'm just saying, if you get to the end of the draft and you see Jameson Crowder sitting there, don't be so swayed by, he was decent, because we're not sure what his role is going to be with the New York Jets.
I would rather take high upside flyers on guys like Russell Gage, Sammy Watkins, Gabriel Davis, Paris Campbell, Rashad Bateman, John. These are all guys whose ADP's behind them.
Traquan Smith. No?
Don't say stupid things.
Come on.
I have no interest in Traquan Smith.
The number 2 for the New Orleans Saints, who are going to sling the ball.
He's the number 2 wide receiver. He's not the number 2 target. Adam Troutman is the number 2 target. Actually, Adam Troutman is the 3 behind Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
So, no, I don't have any. Traquan Smith's a guy that you have fun with that.
You won't take a flyer on him late in the draft?
It's Cole Beasley on steroids. Have fun. You enjoy your 8 to 10 points a game.
Okay. I mean, he's a guy.
Take Russell
he's a guy to
Gage
me that I think has way more upside than Jameson Crowder.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you.
Okay.
He has way better opportunity. I don't think he has higher upside. Just because I don't buy the talent in the least.
Fair enough.
But my fade, Michael Carter. I drove the bus on this. I did this to all of us.
Yeah, you did.
I was one of the ones that was screaming, Michael Carter, Michael Carter, Michael Carter, Michael Carter. Do I think he's going to be the running back that gets the most touches for the New York Jets? Yes, but fuck, it's close. Okay. Because I think Ty Johnson's actually the guy you want.
Okay.
I think Ty Johnson's the running back, especially in deep league. If you're in like a 20-man roster league, Ty Johnson should be on your team. They like this kid a lot. And he has really shown out in this offense. I think you're going to get some weird two-headed monster here. I could give a damn less about Tevin Coleman. LaMichael Pirine, I think it's Carter and Ty Johnson.
Tevin Coleman's connection with the coaching staff, you don't think that's going to play into
How'd that work in San Francisco?
How much carry he gets?
Yeah, how'd that work in San Francisco?
Well, you got a point. He was always hurt.
How often was he good in San Francisco?
He wasn't.
4 games in however many years?
He was good in Atlanta.
He was fine.
Not good in San Francisco.
Yeah, I think Tevin Coleman's a guy that was brought in because he knows the system. Mm-hmm. He's a guy to have. Holy good Lord. How many carries did Tevin Coleman have last year? He played in 8 games.
I'm going to go with 75.
You're too high. By a lot. It's 28.
That's it.
He had 28 carries all year last year. for 53 yards. 28 carries for 53 yards. I'm going to use an analogy that I use a lot on the show. He is 6 foot tall. There are 56 yards in 2 yards per rush. So that means he got to the line and fell directly down. Like, oh, I'm here. Yeah, I don't give a damn about Tevin.
What was his long? Now I want to know what his long was.
Oh, I went away from it. Hold on. Go! The internet in the studio, I'm convinced, is possessed by the devil. His long was 12. Yeah, 12. Oh, my God.
That's hot.
Oh, my God. That means the other 27 carries of the year, he had 41 yards. That means he was not even getting to the line.
Uh-huh.
Woof.
Yeah.
That's with a, I'm not going to say a markedly better line, but a definitively better line.
So anyway, what we've learned from this is that the hype that Jeremy pushed on Michael Carter has gone crazy.
We swayed it too much. He did too much shit in rookie minicamp, and the one-handed catch and all the things we've seen, and people lost their minds. They went, he's the only guy that's worth the shit. Well, no, he's not. Ty Johnson's pretty good too. Ty Johnson's pretty good too. So that's your free unsolicited. I'm the tight end whisperer, not the running back whisperer. That is your free unsolicited advice on a running back for my team. By the way, if you're in Dynasty, being the tight end whisperer, I would be remiss if I didn't point this out. Kenny Yeboah is a guy that nobody's ever heard of that you should know. Kenny Yeboah is a guy that should be drafted in Dynasty rookie drafts. Not early, but he and Jacob Harris are like to me. And how long have I been on Jacob Harris?
For a while.
I've been banging that drum until my hands have bled. Well, Kenny Yeboah is right behind him.
Support for the Sportsocracy is brought to you by Manscaped. Go check out our friends at manscaped.com. They are the world champions of men's below-the-waist grooming. They've got the precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped, including me, including Jeremy as well, and, of course, love the new Lawnmower 4.0. I saw a very classy commercial for that on the golf coverage over the weekend, by the way.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Yeah, they're allegedly they're going to be happening on our ESPN radio show very soon.
Hot.
Yeah, I hate time differences. Their execs are in California, and they email me late at night, and I'm like, I'm sleepy. I'm sleeping. Then I email them in the morning, and they're like, now I'm sleeping.
Anyhow, the Lawnmower 4.0, of course, comes with the advanced skin-safe technology. And, of course, it has a whole lot of bells and whistles. Wireless charging. The advanced skin-safe technology is a ceramic blade that cuts down on all of those little mishaps that might happen when you are trying to trim the bushes. And it's got a little light on it to help you see better, get in all those hard-to-reach places, get a little more precision cut. You could cut, thunderbolts in it or something if you wanted to. Jazz it up. Make things interesting. Why not?
Hardwood floors. That's
just hardwood.
Don't need no sprigs on it.
Mr. Clean over here. You can, it's got guards on it as well, like any good trimmer should. So you can, you can go high pile, you can go low pile, you can go no pile, whichever
mine
you would like.
Mine doesn't have a guard on it at all.
Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer. Use our promo code Sportsocracy at manscaped.com. Save 20% on your purchase and, of course, free worldwide shipping for using the promo code Sportsocracy at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you.
Use this for your rod because it'd be odd to go Sweeney Todd. Been sitting on that one for 5 freaking days.
That's a good one. In the NFC East, we're talking faves and fades for 2021 fantasy football. We go with the best team in the division, debatably, the Dallas Cowboys. I think there's no question they are the best offense and the best fantasy team in the NFC
Oh, they're
East.
certainly the best fantasy football team.
Yes.
I want to have a Cowboy on every roster I have. You and I vehemently disagree on one of these players.
vehemently disagree. Okay. Dak Prescott is my favorite. And it's because I think, I don't know if there's hesitancy because of last year's injury or what, but to me, Dak Prescott he was on path to throw for
5,900 yards.
6,000 yards last year.
5,900 yards. 5,900 yards. He was on pace to break the NFL record for yards in a year by a full damn game.
Yep.
Well, he gets an extra game this year. What do you think he's going to do this year?
Indeed. He's got all of the weapons, and I don't understand why he is not being drafted as the 4th quarterback in fantasy football this year. I know the ADP for Fantasy Pros says he's the 5th quarterback right now, but I have been in drafts where he has been 8th or 9th. And to me, that's dumb. Dak Prescott is a guy that he could sway me. He's one of those that can sway a late round QB guy on going, yeah, we're in the 5th round and this is dumb now. Dak Prescott's going to have major value, and I will not be shocked if he ends up as the number 1 quarterback in fantasy football this year. There's a path to it. I'm not saying it's likely.
I would say there's a path to it.
I'm just saying there's a chance.
Where are you comfortable taking Dak Prescott? Because I think you and I are going to have different answers on that.
5th round. I think the 5th round is where I'll go, yeah, this has gone too far.
Then you'll get him damn near nowhere. Because he's going in the 4th pretty much everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That makes him not your fave.
What do you mean?
So you're not willing to take him where he's going right now.
I mean, I might.
Right now he's going in the middle of the 4th round.
It depends on what order it is.
Okay.
It depends on what order it is. If there is a run on quarterbacks, and I see that.
Well, no, he's 4.
Huh?
He's 4 across all sides.
Yeah. But
hold on.
Okay.
Take the journey with me.
Yes.
Let's say Mahomes goes first couple picks of the 2nd round.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen goes middle of the 3rd. Kyler goes beginning of the 4th. You're dead in the middle of the 4th round.
Mm-hmm.
You know you will not get him if you wait. Are you willing to pull the trigger right there? That's with Lamar,
I'm gonna say,
Russ, Justin Herbert, Aaron Rodgers, all still on board.
I'm going to say no.
See, I'm not either. That's the reason. And I love him. I think he'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he's going to be that much better than the guys I just said.
Mm-hmm.
Russell Wilson's another guy that I'm just plastered on this year.
I can only speak from my personal experience, and I've done about, I'm going to say, 15 mock drafts already in this run-up to the fantasy football season.
Over.
And I have seen Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Matthew Stafford. I have seen all 4 of those quarterbacks go before Dak Prescott, and to me, that's dumb.
Matthew Stafford should now be number 4 in fantasy football.
Really? Okay.
They're not going to be able to run a greasy peg up a cat's ass.
With Cam Akers' injury.
Matthew Stafford might throw for 5,500 yards this year. That's the part with Cam Akers that we have not talked about because it broke on this show.
Right.
Yeah, Matthew Stafford is now that dude because they're going to throw a lot. I firmly believe they're going to re-sign Todd Gurley, and he will be the one with Darrell Henderson sprinkled in, and no running back's really going to be the bell cow. You know, I know things didn't go particularly well in L.A. Here's the thing, Todd, you got 3 choices. You can either go be a running back with the Chargers, just a dude. You're going to be one of the dudes. Be behind Austin Eckler. You might get 10 totes a game at best. You can go be a dude in Baltimore running as the 3 behind J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards. Or you can go to an offense you already know and probably be the starter. I believe you will swallow your pride and do that. But yeah, now there's just a lot of quarterbacks now that I have. New news. I'm thinking about it. I'm processing it as we're doing this. Yeah, Matthew Stafford's probably no worse than 6 to me.
Okay.
So yeah, it actually pushes Dak. But here's one of those fun causations without actual correlation. Cam Akers gets hurt, it pushes Dak Prescott down for me.
Mm-hmm.
You lost a running back. All the running backs go up. Well, now all the quarterbacks come down because now there's an extra quarterback that I feel fine about, which means I now feel good about 11 starting quarterbacks in the NFL. You're not going to take 2 before I take 1.
Right.
So I'm now out. I'm not changing my fade solely because of who my fade is.
Right.
But if I had a second fade, it would be Dak Prescott.
Okay. Your favorite for the Dallas Cowboys?
CeeDee Lamb, not close. Best receiver on this team, not debatable to me.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people talk about sophomore slumps. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have a sophomore surge. I love him. Love him. No, I want you to think about what I'm going to say. No mini camp last year. There was virtually no camp. He's a rookie, has to learn all this shit. Still almost had 1,000 yards. Had 75 catches, had 5 touchdowns. Yep, I think all of those numbers are going to go up. And where's he going right now?
Where?
Do you have his ADP pulled up? I do,
not.
but back into the 4th round. It's somewhere in there. I can't get my damn computer to go. I would take him over.
44.
Oh, I got it. So he's on mine consensus of all the sites. He's the next to last pick in the 4th round. Yeah, here's the list of receivers I would take him over: Amari Cooper, Adam Thielen, Julio Jones, Mike Evans, Keenan Allen. That's probably it. There are a couple others I thought about, but yeah, I'd take him over every one of those guys I just said. Allen Robinson would be close. If I knew Justin Fields was playing 17 games, Allen Robinson would be much more comfortable. The thought of him being thrown to by Andy Dalton gives me great grief.
I don't think I could take him over anybody that you just said.
If you can't take him over Adam Thielen, you're out of your gourd.
But it's not. But it's close.
If you don't take him over Adam Thielen, you're out of your mind. But literally. I was
focusing on Allen, Julio, and Mike Evans.
Well, Julio, you should definitively take him over because Julio is now the 2, no doubt, in Tennessee. Mm-hmm. What did Corey Davis do? Look at Corey Davis's stat line last year. Mm-hmm. Attach that to Julio Jones. Tell me you don't think CeeDee Lamb's going to be better than that.
Sure. This is
I think a injury-limited Julio Jones at this point is very similar to Corey Davis. Mm-hmm. I think they're damn near the same player.
I think the one thing that would scare me about Dallas is there's so many mouths to feed. While I believe in the talent of CeeDee Lamb and he is the best guy that they have, I would still be worried about a limited load for him.
You shouldn't. He had 111 targets last year.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to run as the 1 a lot. I'm not overly worried about Gallup. I mean, all right. How many passes do you think Dak Prescott throws?
In this season?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I'll say he plays 17 games. Dak plays 17 games, which he's played 16 4 times. Never played 4 games with Mike McCarthy. Just to let that be known.
I don't know.
I don't see a way it's not 600. I don't see a path to it. He threw 222 in just over 5 games last year. Do you realize what that's on pace for? It's on pace for 700. Yeah, I see a path. CeeDee Lamb has 100. I could see CeeDee Lamb having 170 targets. Mm-hmm. Amari Cooper having 150. Zeke having 90. Gallup having another 100. I mean, hell, I've still got, 200 left? Mm-hmm. For Blake Jarwin and Tony Pollard and whoever else.
Dalton Schultz.
Yeah. This is the pass-happiest offense in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. Hence, my fade. Ezekiel Elliott. From where you have to draft him, I don't want him. I will take my chances on somebody else who I don't think that because the usage dropped for him.
Get it, though.
Yeah. I mean, he had 40 or 60 fewer carries last year than he did the year before that. And that was with a team that couldn't throw the ball.
Less.
Right. Mm-hmm. And his yards per carry dropped as well. It's been dropping precipitously, I believe, since his rookie year.
Yards per attempt dropped off the table last year.
He's down to 4 yards per carry. And I don't see a whole lot changing for that offense because, as you just said, they could throw for 700 times this year. What does that leave for Zeke on the ground? Now, the PPR, there is a path to him to get a lot of passes, of course. But I just think Zeke is limited for where you're going to have to take him.
I don't because I see a path to the way you're going to have to defend this team. If you look at what Zeke did to start the year, because you had 2 close games. Then you had that weird game with Cleveland, the loss against Seattle, and then Dak got hurt against the Giants. If you take just those 3 games, the games where they were either winning or within a touchdown, he's still the same dude. 19 to 19, 22, 22. I mean, yeah, his yards per carry tanked with Andy Dalton. He was at 4.8, 4.5, 4.4. That was with Dak. With Andy Dalton, 3.7, 3.3, 2.8, 3.2. There is a 4.9, but that was against Minnesota, and I'm pretty sure I could have averaged 4.5 yards against Minnesota last year. Yeah, I vehemently disagree with you on Ezekiel.
You had 2 things as well working against him. They could stack the box because they didn't really trust Andy Dalton. Number 2, all the injuries on the offensive line. It's been a battered offensive line for the last 2 years. So if they're going to be completely healthy, sure, he could see an uptick. But again, if I'm picking there at that 6th, 7th, 8th spot in the first round,
I don't think you have to take him that high.
I mean, that's his ADP.
I understand what his ADP is. What did I tell you before the show? You cannot trust ADPs on like 4 teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the New England Patriots, the Dallas Cowboys. Because invariably there are guys that go, I'm taking Zeke 1. You just don't have that with other teams. Nobody does that with Alvin Kamara. Nobody does that with Jonathan Taylor or Nick Chubb. And it skews them. You tell me where you could slot in Zeke, because I have a feeling we're going to disagree. I'll take out McCaffrey, Dalvin Cook, Derrick Henry, Alvin Kamara. You're going to have him over Saquon, I'm assuming. Or you're going to have Saquon over him, I mean.
Yes.
Okay. I'll take those 5 out. You tell me who you would take him over. Jonathan Taylor.
No.
Nick Chubb.
No.
Aaron Jones.
No.
Cam Akers.
Well, yeah.
I was trying to trip him up.
Obviously,
Austin Eckler.
No.
You're wrong. That's where it should be. I would take him over. Aaron Jones is the one for me. I think A.J. Dillon pirates more of that workload than you think. Yeah, I would take him. He's probably my 8th running back. Because I would take him over Saquon Barkley.
Right. I'm not going to feel good. I'm not going to feel comfortable about it if Ezekiel Elliott is my RB1.
You should. I firmly believe you should. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of mocks I've done, I wind up with Zeke as my 2nd running back at the backside of the 2nd round. Or at the front side of the 2nd round. When Travis Kelce gets pirated in front of me because I have figured out about where my niche is.
Right.
I want to pick 6, 7, or 8 because I want to take Travis Kelce in the 1st round.
Right.
But now the ones I've done where I wind up at 10, 11, 12, he doesn't fall to me. It's weird how many times I'm going Jonathan Taylor or Nick Chubb and Zeke. Let me do that. Let me do that. I'll figure out tight end. Fuck it. I'll play Logan Thomas or Robert Tonyan. It's fine. I'm all the way in for that. I have Zeke at 8. And I think you're grossly too low on him. There's an overrated myth that he has this fumbling problem. Yeah, he had 5 fumbles last year. 4 of them were in 3 games. That's fumbles lost.
Weren't 3 of them in the Atlanta game?
That's fumbles lost.
Okay.
Yeah, he had 3 fumbles being lost 2 of them.
Okay.
So, I mean, yeah, he had a little butterfingers last year. Teams were also stacking the box against him. I think he was overweight. I think he came in out of shape. Everything I've heard is he's heard all this shit too. And he's coming in just bound and determined to prove you wrong.
Yeah.
I will be in on Zeke. The Dallas Cowboy I will not be in on is Amari Cooper. He's going ahead of CeeDee Lamb, and to me that is stupid. Because I can only trust him half the time. And now you've got 9 road games in the NFC and 8 home games. I'm out. I'm out.
All the road games.
His home road splits are insanity.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I've got this on my. I literally figured this stat out one time. Let me see if I can find it. One would think I would have figured this out before. Doot, 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 doot. Doot. There it is. At home, first of all, Amari Cooper is just disgustingly bad late in the year. Mm-hmm. When you really need him is when he screws you. I broke this way down. Good God, I threw way too much shit in this. It's here somewhere. There it is. Home games. This is last year, 2020. Mm-hmm. Home games, he had 44 receptions for 646 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 4 more catches on the road and had almost 200 fewer yards. He's bad on the road and has been forever. And last year was the best year he ever had. Mm-hmm. Usually it's more drastic than that. Like, just falls off the world on the road. I'm out on Amari Cooper.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to play the same game with Amari that I played with, because you're not out on Amari Cooper.
I am.
Oh, you are out?
Yeah, I am out on Amari Cooper. I don't like him.
All right,
but I knew he was going to be your fade, so I had to come up with something different.
Let's go receivers behind him. You tell me where he slots in.
Okay.
Chris Godwin.
Godwin.
Robert Woods.
I'll take Woods.
Jamar Chase.
Chase.
Kenny Gallaudet.
Gallaudet.
Cooper Kupp.
Kupp.
I disagree on. Oh, no, I don't. Cam Akers. Damn it! Tyler Lockett.
Lockett.
Deontay Johnson.
That's it.
Right there.
That's it.
That's the beginning of the 6th round. Mm-hmm. He's going to the back end of the 4th. I will have him nowhere.
Nope.
Because I agree. I agree with you. By the way, Deontay Johnson going that high is stupid. I like Deontay Johnson, but the hype has gotten dumb. I still think Chase Claypool is the one on that team. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's because he's my little boyfriend. I don't know.
Let's talk about the Washington football team. The fantasy favorites and fades for the Washington football team in 2021. Of course, you know, I was on him when he got drafted out of Memphis.
Oh, yeah.
I was on him.
The night he fell in love with the king of Memphis.
Right.
I saw stars.
Day one. That was one of the guys that we argued the most about during our pre-draft coverage last year was Antonio Gibson. Fire him up. Get him everywhere.
I was wrong on him. I'll admit that.
And Antonio Gibson, to me, he scored 11 touchdowns last year, and those were all on the ground. I still don't believe that they have used him as much as he can be used in the passing game.
They're not gonna. J.D. Mckissick. That's the reason he's not on my favorite list.
I understand J.D. Mckissick is still around, but I got a feeling that there's going to be an uptick this year, and a guy with his speed and his breakaway ability after he catches the football, I think it was more of a fluke last year that he didn't score any touchdowns receiving the football. So he's going to be the guy on the ground, and I think he's going to get a couple of touchdowns this year in the receiving game. I see more touchdowns coming for Antonio Gibson this year, and I'm going to be shocked if he's not at closer to that 1,000-yard mark than he was last year. He was right at about 800 yards last year. I think he gets closer to 1,000 yards this year, and I will go over the 11 touchdowns total.
The workload's what scares me. I think that will go up. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much it will go up. Still got J.D. Mckissick, who they plan on using in the passing game. That's not going away. Mm-hmm. My fear with him is he had 44 targets all year. Mm-hmm. He was right about a little over 2 a game. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much that's going to change. And I look at the running backs that are being taken around him and tell me who else has that problem. Who else that goes in this range has that problem? I think his ADP is perfect. I think he should be in the first handful of guys in the second round. Mm-hmm. So I'm not trying to slight you. I just think you're too high on him. Because legitimately, from where he's being taken, who would you take him over? Is it Austin Eckler?
No.
It's not for me. Aaron Jones?
No.
And well, guess what? Now with no Cam Akers, who was going ahead of him, he goes up. Antonio Gibson, I will not be shocked if his ADP is the first pick in the second round by this time next week. I can't do it. I can't take him over Najee Harris is the one that's so hard for me. I just look at Najee and go, I can wait and get him, and I think it's a wash. I think those two guys are very similar. And I actually think Najee Harris is going to catch more passes than Antonio Gibson will. And there's no threat to his workload at all.
That's a good point. I'm not saying I'm going to draft him crazy high. I will draft him exactly where he's going. He's falling in line. I will let somebody else, I'll let everybody focus on other things. But he's definitely in line there. I'm not taking anybody ahead of him that's below him.
Oh, son of a bitch. I forgot to take Amari Cooper off the damn screen.
Oh.
I was wondering what everybody's talking about. Oh, hell. Damn the devil. That's supposed to be Curtis Samuel. I forgot to change the fucking name.
There's only two of us. Just the two of us. I told you I was going to get it in again.
No,
Antonio Gibson is my favorite player on this team. Like I said, I think he's going to be great this year, and I will take him exactly where he's fallen in on the ADP.
All right, we have to talk about my fade since I forgot to change the damn name. Curtis Samuel's played for Ron Rivera before. He's played for Scott Turner, too. I've seen this. I've read this book, and I don't like it. He worked in the Joe Brady offense because they moved him all over the formation. I don't believe in Scott Snyder enough that he learned that. His dad was one of the most absolutely bull-headed human beings in the history of the NFL. And would just keep lather, rinse, repeat doing the same thing. I struggle to believe that he is markedly different than that.
Okay.
So for me, it's not that I dislike Curtis Samuel. I dislike where he's going. I dislike that he's going in front of a bunch of guys that I like better than him. Because to me, he should be. Consensus is not as high on him as I thought it was. But like Laviska Shenault, there's no shot.
By the way, did you say Scott Snyder? Scott Turner.
Scott Turner.
He's not
you
the
had
owner's.
me all fucked up.
I was confused. So there's a Scott Snyder.
Yeah, I combined Daniel. I've just fucked Washington all the way.
It took a minute for it to bounce around in my head, and I went, did he really just say Scott Snyder?
I actually
Scott
know
Turner.
a guy named Scott Snyder.
Okay.
Which I maybe that's what I was thinking.
Well,
maybe
it's
I had
Washington
Daniel
football.
Snyder.
Right, exactly.
I don't know what the hell I did. Now, what I want to talk about here, and you're getting pretty deep roasted in the comments.
And that's fine.
You're fading Terry McLaurin?
I'm fading Terry McLaurin. It's all because of the ADP. To me, the ADP is not where I'm going to be willing to take him, so I will let others take him there. It's not that I don't like Terry McLaurin. It's just I probably won't have him anywhere because in the third round, I'm not going to be focusing on wide receiver. In the third round, I'm mostly going to be letting everybody else take the wide receiver run, and I'm still going to be focusing on trying to get the top running backs.
You do realize that Terry McLaurin was the number 20 wide receiver in PPR last year, missing a game with Dwayne Haskins, Alex Smith, and Taylor Heineke.
I do.
I can't wrap my brain around how you don't. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. If you added just his average points to that 16th game, he'd have been 14. He's being drafted as wide receiver, 16?
It's 11 on my screen.
I'm looking. You're looking at Fantasy Pros. I'm looking at the consensus. If you wonder why our numbers aren't lining up. All right, who's behind him that you would take ahead of him?
Allen Robinson.
You're wrong.
Really?
Straight up, you're wrong. He's the only receiver on that team. I like Darnell Mooney fine. Chicago Bears fans freaked out that I called him a number 3 receiver. I love when people freak out over a guy they've never seen do shit.
Let me rephrase this. Okay, there's not necessarily anyone that I would take ahead of him, but these are guys that I would rather wait on because I think I can get more value in the third round at the running back position.
With who? I don't see a path that I take a receiver in the first 2 rounds ever. I will not have Tyreek Hill anywhere. I'm not taking Devontae Adams ahead of a slew of number one running backs. Diggs is the same way. DK Metcalf's the same way. DeAndre Hopkins is probably the first wide receiver I can see me getting to. Michael Thomas has been my number one receiver in damn near every draft I've done. Terry McLaurin's the other one, and I'm fine with it. I'm fine with him being my one. I think he's a top 10 receiver that's being drafted outside the top 10. I'd rather have him than Calvin Ridley. Straight up, and it's not even close.
Okay. Tyler Lockett is a guy that I feel like I don't have to take Terry McLaurin in the third round. I can wait and get a guy like Tyler Lockett a round, maybe 2 rounds later, and I feel like I'm going to get similar production out of him. I mean, last year, Terry McLaurin had 87 catches, 1,118 yards, and 4 touchdowns. Tyler Lockett is going 2 rounds behind him, and last year that guy had 100 catches, 1050, and 10 touchdowns.
And I'm fine with that. I think you're undervaluing how the Dwayne Eskridge thing.
Oh,
because
okay.
that is a thing. That's a legitimate third receiver. Dwayne Eskridge will have Darnell Mooney-esque type numbers,
right.
60 for 600 yards. That's coming from somewhere.
Justin
Gerald
Jefferson.
Everett's will pilfer some workload too.
Justin Jefferson. He's another guy that's going behind Terry McLaurin.
Not by consensus, and it's not even close.
Really?
No.
Okay.
Justin Jefferson, consensus across all platforms, is the last pick of the second round or the first pick in the third.
Oh, wow.
McLaurin's going almost a full round behind Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
I think you're looking at some
maybe
fantasy
I'm
pro. One of the reasons, and I love fantasy pros, but it can get skewed to certain sites. That's the reason that I use this one, because it does all of them.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson, 100%. I would take Jefferson ahead of McLaurin. There's not a lot of other guys. As soon as Michael Thomas comes off the board, I am just locking in on McLaurin. Like I have to get him because he's the last receiver I feel great about. I like Lockett.
If you're in my league and you draft Terry McLaurin in the third round, am I going to laugh at you? No, because if that's your strategy, that's your smart play. That's not my strategy. And so Terry McLaurin's a guy that I'm probably not going to have anywhere.
He was the number 20 receiver in fantasy football in PPR last year with no legitimate quarterback. He has a legitimate quarterback. They're going to throw the ball more. He's better than Dwayne.
He is better than Dwayne Haskins. I understand that. I'm just saying we have talked a lot about the inconsistency of Ryan Fitzpatrick.
There's a volatility there, and the opportunity cost. I've already factored all that in.
Okay.
I still would take Terry McLaurin. For me, McLaurin is the last receiver that I feel good about being my one.
Okay.
There's not a receiver like Tyler Lockett. You were talking about him. I don't feel good about him being my one. Fine with him being my two. I don't want him to be my one. I need somebody that's going to be more consistent than that. Tyler Lockett has huge games. He can also have not huge games over the course of his career. I'm not comfortable with anybody behind McLaurin as my one.
Okay.
Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Allen Robinson, I'm not comfortable with any of those. I love them all as twos. I don't want them as my one.
But in the third round, you see a path where you would take Terry McLaurin.
Late third, yeah. I see a path that I could go Kelsey, let's say I'm picking at 8 because that's pretty much where I'm going to have to take him. I take Kelsey at 8. I take Zeke at the beginning of the second round. I take McLaurin back into the third. And I take Kareem Hunt in the beginning of the fourth. And my wiener is now seen through my pants by all 11 people in the room other than myself.
No. We're not going to do that. Not going to do that. Let's talk about
I got to give Rob Johnson credit because he said this in the comments. McLaurin's always double teamed, or he was last year. Drew a ton of double teams. Can't do that anymore. Because now you got Curtis Samuel, who's a legitimate receiver. Logan Thomas, you got to be worried about McKissick and Gibson if the surge goes up there. You just can't divert as much attention because this offense is more spread out than it used to be.
Right.
So I look at it like I think the floor for McLaurin is what he was last year. I'm okay with that. You would have been wide receiver 14 if you'd have played all 16 games. Okay, that's still a back end wide receiver 1. High end wide receiver 2, back end wide receiver 1.
It's just for me, the rent is too damn high.
Not for me.
I'll be focusing on other things at that point in the draft. Talk about the New York Giants. Faves and fades for 2021. My favorite is Kenny Gallaudet. And this is just because he's going way too damn late. I think people are sleeping on him. I understand Daniel Jones is not a great quarterback.
He's not.
I understand that. But I think there is going to be there's an opportunity there for a damn good connection with Daniel Jones throwing the deep ball to Kenny Gallaudet. Kenny Gallaudet was, he is in the last 2 years. Granted, he only played 4 games last year. Mm-hmm. Still, when he's on the field, his target average is among the top in the league.
He was wide receiver 9 in 2019. He was wide receiver 21 in 2018.
Mm-hmm.
Here's my problem. I don't see how that's going to get better with a markedly more average quarterback. I don't see how you're going to be better than that. And he's going. See, you're locked in on the ADP of always going too late in the 5th round.
Mm-hmm.
Do you definitively know you like him better than Cooper Kupp? Do you definitively know you like him better than Tyler Lockett or Odell Beckham or DJ Moore? Sorry. I have this volume problem that when I see stupid shit, I have to scream it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I think he's just another dude in that territory. He's another guy that I would feel fine if he's my 2. I don't, under any circumstances, I want him to be my 1.
And I agree with that. I'm not taking him as my 1. Again, mock draft experience so far has been, I'm getting him down in the 7th round.
You're drafting with children.
He's falling.
I have yet to see him go that late in anything I've done.
He is falling that far in some drafts, and I don't understand it.
I don't hate him. I don't want this to come off like I hate him. I just think he's being drafted where he belongs. He was a wide receiver 1 time with what I think is one of the 8 most talented quarterbacks in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Now he has one of the 8 least talented quarterbacks in the NFL.
I will
going
give
back
that
where
to
I think he belongs.
I will give that to you. Your favorite is Sterling Shepard. And is this just strictly based on value?
Yep, it is.
Where is he going right now?
427 billion. Yeah, that's the. He's in the 5 billions. I haven't seen him drafted in one mock draft I've done. Not one. Except by me. Mm-hmm. I don't count. I haven't seen anybody but me draft him.
What is his ceiling this year?
Are they going to be behind, yes or no?
Yes.
Is he the second best receiver on this team, yes or no?
Yes.
Is he the slot guy on this team, yes or no?
Yes.
I think you answered your own question of what his ceiling is. Daniel Jones is going to throw the ball a shitload. The biggest drawback to me on Sterling Shepard is that he doesn't stay healthy. I don't have any other negative to say about him.
Darius Slayton, you don't see him as a competition?
He's fine. The one time, there have been 2 times out, but one was his rookie year. Well, actually, you know what? It plays in my narrative as well.
Okay.
The 2 times he's played 16 games, he's had over 100 targets, he's had over 60 receptions, and he's had 4 or more touchdowns. He had 8 as a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it. That's his floor to me.
4 touchdowns?
No. Is 100 targets, 60 to 70 receptions, and I would say let's go the mean of that in 6 touchdowns. That's a guy I'm getting with my dead last pick. I just look at that and go, okay, well, what if something happened to Darius Slayton, no injury history there, mm-hmm. something happened to Kenny Gallaudet, mm-hmm. huge injury history there. Now all of a sudden he's asked to do more. I don't buy Evan Ingram. I'm right there with you. All of a sudden I got a hell of a value late.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at with Sterling Shepard. He's treated like a broken toy, and I don't understand it.
I think there's plenty of opportunity for him to be a decent fantasy play. He may be a flex guy.
He is a flex guy. He's 100% a flex guy, mm-hmm. but he could be a high-end flex guy. Mm-hmm. His ceiling is markedly higher than any receiver I'm drafting anywhere near him. I mean, look at you've got 80 people in front of you. Name any receiver that's even in the ballpark of him that you think could be anywhere near him.
Oh, I can.
It's because there's not one.
Right.
The consensus rankings, he doesn't even qualify. He's behind John Brown and Rashad Bateman and just a slew of other guys. Yeah, I'm good. And I'll be honest with you, I could have put Darius Slayton right here, and it would have been the exact same thing. I don't think this team's going to be able to run the ball well. That's why I'm fading Saquon Barkley. He's the one high-end running back that I have a huge issue that your line sucks. I mean, your line is brutally bad. And I understand the talent. Teams are going to stack the box against you because they're not scared of your quarterback in the least. Kenny Gallaudet is a guy that you can cover one-on-one. He's not an Odell Beckham in his prime, A.J. Brown, Justin Jefferson type guy. He's not. He's a matchup headache because he's so big. But it's not like this is a guy that you have to double team at all times. If you have an A1 corner, done. There you go. Enjoy that. I can stack the box, and I think that plays into Sterling Shepard because I think teams are going to be able to get home, and who benefits from that? Tight ends and slot receivers. Well, their tight end is a slot receiver that I don't buy at all, and he has terrible hands.
My fade for the New York Giants is Evan Ingram.
Yeah, the one I was just talking shit about.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere close to it. He's being taken as like the back end to tight end one territory, and that is ridiculous to me. I mean, look, I understand that he got a lot of targets last year. He did have a lot of catches last year when compared to other tight ends in the league. He had 109 targets last year. He caught 63 of those balls. Of all of the guys in the NFL that had at least 109 targets, he was second behind the guy who had the fewest targets or the fewest catches out of at least 109 targets.
This has been the most confusing stat in the history of time.
He had the second fewest catches out of anybody that had 109 targets last year.
There we go.
Thank you.
There were too many target catches number.
Right.
Loud noises.
Do you want to take a guess at who had the fewest catches with at least 109 targets last year?
No clue.
Jerry Jeudy.
Wow.
Jerry Jeudy was the only guy with 109 or fewer targets, or 109 targets to have fewer catches than Evan Ingram. Thank you.
I'm going to get him an abacus and a chalkboard. Don't worry.
He only catches like 50% of his balls, 55% of his balls, and I'm out at that. He had the fourth highest drop rate in the league last year.
Yeah, I don't buy into Evan Ingram either. Just looking at tight ends, I'd rather have Irv Smith. I'd rather have Noah Fant. I'd rather have Robert Tonyan, Gesicki, Jonnu Smith. There's just a ton. Adam Troutman. Yeah, I see no path that I have Evan Ingram on any team in fantasy football this year.
Nope.
Same way I feel about Saquon Barkley. I won't have him anywhere either.
Nope, me either.
Because I'm not taking him up there. I just think there's a marked line of demarcation once you get past the like Kamara, the Kamara, Jonathan Taylor, there's a huge step down. And I don't put Saquon Barkley in that. I think he's one of the first ones out. I think he'll be fine, but I don't think there's a value proposition where you're getting him.
There's too many question marks for me for Saquon Barkley. It's that offensive line. I'm not as worried about a re-injury. That doesn't really concern me.
I'm worried about ineffective. That's what I'm afraid of with Saquon Barkley. I'm afraid he's just not going to be good.
When he played last year, granted it was very small window size, but I mean he was averaging like 2.9 yards per carry.
Teams were just loading the box, and it was working.
Right. That offense was bad, and I get it. They got better wide receivers now, but they still got Daniel Jones. They're still going to be able to add one more in the box than maybe they, than they would plan for every other team. They could put an extra one in the box, and they're still going to be able to get into the backfield because I don't believe in the offensive line of the New York Giants. Saquon, I love the talent, but I think he's in a very, very bad spot.
As do I.
And you're going to have to take him with the 4th, 5th, 6th pick in the draft.
Yeah, I'm out.
And
I'm out.
Not
I'm out
at
on all
all
of it.
Now let's talk about the worst team in this division. Not even close. The Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles favorites and fades for 2021 fantasy football. I'm on Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders is a guy to me that I see him all the time dropping in drafts. To me, he's the only thing to have for the Philadelphia Eagles.
The hate on him's gotten ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
He's going behind guys that don't make any sense to me. I saw somebody take Travis Etienne ahead of him the other day.
That's ridiculous.
I like Miles Sanders. If I was going to pick a guy, it would have been him. The problem is that if you told me Deshaun Watson was the quarterback of this team, all the way in.
Mm-hmm.
Miles Sanders and Deshaun Watson would have been the guys I wanted. The problem is that with Jalen Hurts, you're going to stack the box. And I don't have any fear of you. I have no fear of Jalen Hurts beating me over the top. None. Because he can't throw.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be some kind of weird RPO run offense. I'm out. I just fuck it. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. I don't want any of them. I won't have a Philadelphia Eagle on a team this year.
Mm-hmm.
I would have had Devonte Smith. He went from my fave to a fade within 3 weeks. Because he's being grossly overdrafted. I saw him go right behind Jamar Chase not that long ago. That's stupid. They have Joe Burrow. You have somebody whose arm talent is mark over mine. Yeah, I'll pass.
I will have an Eagle on my team, but it's only going to be Miles Sanders. He will be the only one on this team that I would even think about drafting. And chances are I'm going to end up with him in more places than I want because everybody else is down on him and too down on him, in my opinion.
I don't want to have full exposure to him.
He has had limited. I mean, I'm not drafting him as my RB1 by any stretch.
No, I don't want. What I mean by exposure, I don't want him on too many of my teams.
Gotcha.
I'm totally fine on having a 30. It's probably even high. Probably a 20% exposure on Miles Sanders. I don't want to be any higher than that. If I start feeling myself drafting him, I don't even know how many leagues I'm in, but if I feel like I've drafted him 4 to 5 times in a row, I'm going to steer the other way. Because there is a path that he is just
just awful.
Not awful. He's going to be that pain in the ass player. He's never bad enough that you have to bench him. He's never good enough that you feel really good about it. Where did he finish among running backs in PPR last year? Do you know?
No clue.
I do. 23. He only played 12 games. So there is something to be said about that. But, yeah.
The inconsistent usage of him is the thing that has concerned me about this team, but I wonder, under Nick Sirianni, is that going to change?
I think it's going to get worse.
Well, the fact that Nick Sirianni came from Indianapolis, where they had a bajillion running backs and they mixed them all up. I remember the gymnastics that we were going through just 2 years ago. I mean, before Jonathan Taylor got there, with Jordan Wilkins and Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines, and well, look at Philadelphia's backfield now.
In terms of
they
PPR running backs last year, the only team that had 2 running backs in the top 15 was the Indianapolis Colts. It was Nyheim Hines and Jonathan Taylor. Taylor was 6, Nyheim Hines was 15. And guess what? They're going to do it again. And it's going to be with Kenneth Gainwell, and it's going to be with Kerryon Johnson. That's what scares me about Miles Sanders. I don't see a path to him. I don't see a path to him losing workload. I see a path to him not getting a full workload. I see this being a gross committee, and he winds up with 16 carries a game.
In 28 games, he had more than 15 touches just 11 times. But here's the thing. Every time he touches the ball, he gets 5 yards, at least. And that's the thing I think they're going to be swayed by. To me, Miles Sanders is a candidate for a breakout this year.
There were a lot of outlier runs that I think you have to chalk up with Miles Sanders.
Yeah, but I think
he had some fluky home run hits. and he was still 23rd. I get that it was in 12 games.
But is it that fluky, or is that because he's got that kind of ability in him?
He has that gear. The problem is I just see teams stacking the box against him.
And that could happen.
With Carson Wentz, I at least had to fear he could beat me over the top with Jalen Reagor. I don't fear that with Jalen Hurts at all. I don't fear that in the fucking least with Jalen Hurts. So, I mean, do you not think there's a path that hurts him?
Yes. I mean, I think there's no doubt about it because Jalen Hurts runs the football as well. So I think there's definitely a path where Jalen Hurts hurts him, but he's still going to be the best. Well, he's still going to be the best thing to have on this team.
Best player, yes. I don't know that he'll be the best fantasy player on this team.
Do you think Jalen Hurts could be the best fantasy player on this team?
He could be. I don't like where he's going.
I'm not in. I'm not in on Jalen Hurts at all. He's going his QB 10 right now, and that's dumb. I am completely out on Jalen Hurts. I will not have him anywhere. I understand why some people believe that, yeah, he runs the football too, so he's going to be able to have those kinds of stats. Everybody looks back at Week 15 of last year, where Jalen Hurts threw for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, and threw for over 300 yards, and I think he even ran a score in that game as well. It was the only game he was worth a damn. And everybody goes, oh, we saw what he could be in Week 15. Okay, what did you see?
No, we saw what he could be in Week 16.
Right, what did you see the rest of the time? Bad. A lot of bad.
If you take away that one outlier game with Jalen Hurts, Miles Sanders averaged 3.5 yards a carry.
What was the one thing that we were pissed off about with Carson Wentz? It's his inability to hold on to the football, correct?
I was pissed off that his line and the front office gave him me playing wide receiver.
But the big knock on him was, look at all the turnovers. Look at all these turnovers. 4 starts last year. How many times did Jalen Hurts turn the ball over?
He threw 4 interceptions. I don't remember how many fumbles he had.
6.
He had 6 fumbles?
6 fumbles and 3 interceptions. He had 9 turnovers in 4 games.
Good God. I didn't realize it was that many.
It was.
Yeah,
what are you getting?
I don't understand the Jalen Hurts thing. I could see a path that he's a bad real-life quarterback and a good fantasy quarterback. I do see that path. One of my favorite roster builds in a super flex is going my high-end quarterback, whether it's Josh Allen, whoever, having Jalen Hurts as my 2 and Deshaun Watson as my 3. I've done that in a couple super flex leagues, and I'm okay with it. Because one of those 2 is going to be good. As a fantasy quarterback, not a real-life quarterback. Or as a person. However you want to take that. I don't really give a shit.
All right, we've done my fave and my fade. What about you?
Out. I got news for you. If you see a Philadelphia Eagle on my roster not named Jalen Hurts, I was drunk.
Nobody, baby.
Because I'm not taking Miles Sanders as high as you have to take him. Devonte Smith has snuck into a territory that I'm not comfortable with. If there was one, it'd be Jalen Reagor. Dallas Goedert's going as tight end 6 right now. Stop that. Makes no sense to me. There's 6 behind him that I 100% would take over him. I feel like I've said Robert Tonyan's name about 9 times today. He applies.
Yep.
I don't get it. The one that I'm super out on is Devonte Smith because he went from super undervalued to, oh, wow, you all figured it out. You figured it out too much. Yep, I'm going to pass on that just fine.
Unless they change quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then if
Deshaun Watson's the quarterback, I take all this back.
Yeah.
If Deshaun Watson was the quarterback, all of a sudden he becomes my fave on this team. I don't know what would happen with his ADP. I think it would still stay suppressed because some people would think he was going to end up on the exempt list for no fucking reason.
Right.
Not because he didn't do anything. I don't know the answer to that, but because the commissioner can't do that. I would like Devonte Smith. Then Jalen Reagor would be the guy to be all over. I like Jalen Reagor as the Brandon Cooks in that offense with Deshaun Watson.
Okay. No Travis Fulgham.
Then I would bump up Goddard a little bit from where I have him, but he would still be nowhere near where he's going. And then I would be in on Miles Sanders because then you couldn't stack the box anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Philadelphia Eagles are going to be a bad team. Guess what? Their fantasy players probably all going to be bad too.
They're bad.
It is what it is.
Bad.
All right, that is the faves and the fades for the AFC and NFC East. We appreciate everybody joining us here in the Wicked Weed studio. WickedWeedBrewing.com. Drink different. Of course, tune in this afternoon to ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400 locally. And take us with you everywhere you go on the iHeartRadio app. Sports Tank with Jeremy Greene, 3 to 5 every weekday afternoon. We will see you on the radio side this afternoon. Back here tomorrow at 10 when we'll do 2 more divisions, Faves and Fades. Fantasy football season, it has arrived.
And tomorrow we'll be doing the expansion draft for the fictitious team for NFLDraft.net in honor of the NHL expansion draft. That will come out. We do not have an ESPN radio show tomorrow, so that will come out later in the day. But we will be here live at 10 a.m. to do the NFC and AFC South.
Yes.
Yep, we'll be here for we'll do the NFC and AFC South, and then the expansion draft will be later in the day.
I'm Tank Spencer. He's Jeremy Greene. We'll see you next time.